Thank you, Commissioners. Todd Martz, Executive Director for Parks and Community Services, and I appreciate the opportunity to present and that saying about early bird gets the worm. I'm glad I get to go first. I really can't drag it out too long though, Nikki, so I'll take as long as I can, but I don't know. So here's our presentation for this year, and the strategic plan. I got to say, I'm very excited to be part of this, the new strategic plan and how it's going. Just to touch on some of the things that we're working on, very much involved in the infrastructure, completing the infrastructure plan, and how do we move that into our capital improvements. And so fully anticipate that'll be a bigger part of what we present down the road. But my department's also involved in Objective 2 with service quality. We're working with our park operations team, similar to what Public Works did, to make sure there's opportunities to create career growth. And Objective 3 is always something that we, as a front-facing agency and department, we always are working on community trust. One example of that is we track customer service, and we try to maintain a 90%, and we always get above that. So we're doing that. And Objective 4, health and safety. We absolutely are expanding our recreational programs and promoting healthy lifestyles. These are some of our indicators. I won't go through all of them. I think you're familiar with a lot of them. The county park volunteer hours, I think, is significant, and that takes work. You know, the volunteers do want to come and help you, but we do have to also go out and reach out to them and make sure that it's a rewarding experience for them and a win for us. You know about the county parks fundraising and the county fair. Both of those have done extremely well. And household hazardous waste, we've got some changes coming up in 24 that I can touch on. Here's some of the highlights that we're looking at for 2024. We're going to improve accessibility all over the park system, but we're going to focus in on Fountain Creek Nature Center, making sure that everyone has access to it. We're going to expand and improve our household hazardous waste program. We know that there's a growing community and a growing need for this, and so we're going to do our part there. Ute Pass Trail, Fox Run Nature Center capital campaign I've already touched on. We're initiating the 2023 storm damage repairs. That's going to be a big job, multi-year, but we're going to be starting that this year. Constructing trails in the Pineries, completing Homestead Ranch Regional Park improvements this year. Expanding our trail ability. As soon as we have a facility in Fox Run, I'll be putting another terrain hopper up in Fox Run. And expanding program accessibility, again, will be a real focus of ours. So our critical need this year, and some of the justification, as we all know, prices are going up, and also community needs are expanding. So our department has an urgent need for contracted services, and we are really trying to target this because we feel this is a responsible way to address this, and it's also something that we can meet the needs, but if we can't do it year after year, this is something that we could cut. But contracted services we're looking at right now: playground repair, playground maintenance, public water system testing. We have a lot of that in our park system, and prices are rising. Portable restrooms and janitorial service, and we're also doing a lot of forestry mitigation, which you gave us money last year for. We've spent that, and we're going to do more mitigation this year. Strategic Objective 2 is where we're going to meet, improving service quality, and Objective 3, increasing community trust. I think this critical need really addresses both of those. Again, with the significant increase in park and trail users, there's a contractual increase to adapt to these customer service needs. Sorry, I'm talking really loud. Here's our base budget and critical needs. So park administration at 544, and I guess I want to address the third-party funding that we do get. And so you can see our third-party funding is about $3.5 million, which I think is a fiscally responsible way for us to run our department. And so we're looking at $3.5 million in third-party funding. And the general fund base budget right now proposed is about 4.7 for a total budget of $8 million, and you can kind of see the highlights of where we get those third-party funds. So here's our base budget and our critical need. The $100,000 would go into park administration for contractual services. The remainder of our budget would remain the same at the base. That's what I got.
Could you go back one slide, please?
Sure. Mm.
I have a question. So
Yes.
on environmental services, that includes the household hazardous waste facility, which is run under a separate budget, am I right?
Correct. Yep. So you
Okay.
can see on here, it's got the environmental service at 1.2, third party. So that's their contribution from the household hazardous waste. And then the general fund support is the 364.
And when we're expanding their services, are we going to do a second facility or just do more hours, times, days?
So a couple things we're looking at right now, Commissioner. We're looking at reducing the wait times. We're thinking about getting rid of the reservations, so people are more of a drop-in. We're also expanding. There's smaller communities around here that need some support, and so we're looking at how do we reach out and help them. And then there's also, you'll know more of this about this than I will. There's a small business need for recycling, and so we're looking at helping them out incrementally. So.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Commissioner Van der Werf.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Ken, maybe a couple of questions. The first one is kind of a broader budget question. So you have talked about doing some capital improvements. So how much of this budget revolves around capital improvements? You know, building, buying a terrain hopper, maybe making some other trails, as you've mentioned, maybe helping getting towards the gazebo and so forth. So how much of this is capital improvement?
So we're still working on our capital improvements with regional park fees and urban park fees funds. And so I don't have that answer for you today, Commissioner. But there is $750,000 that you have appropriated for many years, and now it's part of the budget that will go into capital improvements. And the majority of the general fund capital support this year will go into, or next year will go into Ute Pass Trail. The design is just incredibly expensive. It's very sensitive, and so 750 or 700,000 of that will go into Ute Pass Trail.
Okay. And then we've got Rainbow Falls. Is that still closed because of the rock fall?
So I don't know if you've seen it, but we're taking tours up there right now, and so we've got an opportunity to bring people up, and we're looking at other solutions for this spring. It is still closed. It's still unsafe to park cars there. So I was up there the other day, and there was a football-sized rock that had fallen down. So we've got a price. It's between $300,000 and $1 million to potentially correct it, but it's not going to solve the problem. So we're looking at long-term solutions of how do we get people into Rainbow Falls without having them park there.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Commissioner Williams.
On the Fox Run Nature Center capital campaign, do we have a website for that at all?
We do.
Okay, if you could send that to me.
We will.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Excellent.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much.